Parties, of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
The same tactic that they're doing over and over again of trying to manipulate the courts to get what they want.
Because she allegedly has had some very bad experiences with Justin Baldoni.
Judge Lehman responds to this order, and he just...
Blake Lively has faced another legal setback, marking her second consecutive loss in court. Things are looking bleak for both her and her legal team. It appears their efforts are increasingly futile, and frustration is beginning to build. One can almost imagine her lawyers running around in panic, unsure of what to do next as nothing seems to be going their way. After the recent court session regarding the sexual harassment allegations against her co-star, Justin Baldoni, the situation has only worsened. The court dismissed the evidence presented by her team, leaving her lawyers scrambling to salvage the case. It was like watching someone desperately attempt to glue back together a broken vase. In a last-ditch effort, they requested more time from the judge to amend their lawsuit, hoping for a stronger comeback.
We found out that Blake Lively's team, according to her attorney, is actually planning to file an amended complaint in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni and others. According to her attorney, Michael Gottlieb, that is going to include new claims from Blake Lively, and they're going to be bringing this lawsuit against new defendants.
Judge Lyman gave them until February 14th, Valentine's Day, to make their revisions, as if they hadn't already tested their luck. Yet, Blake's team unexpectedly resurfaced, asking for even more time.
Then filed 2 days ago for an extension. They're like, actually, we're not going to be able to make that amendment due date of February 14th.
This time, they requested an extension until March 5th.
To Dear Judge Lehman, February 14th, 2025 is the original default deadline for Ms. Lively to file her amended complaint. As a matter of course, in relation to responsive pleadings of Wayfarer Studios, LLC. Then they go on to say Ms. Lively respectfully submits that an extension for filing an amended complaint, as a matter of course, to March 5th, 2025 is warranted.
They made an attempt, but Judge Lyman wasn't having it. After already being granted extra time, it seemed unreasonable to ask for more. However, Blake's team had plans to bring in additional witnesses to testify against Justin Baldoni. One of the witnesses they considered was Jenny Slate, who starred alongside Baldoni in It Ends With Us, playing his sister.
But he got a very strong tip from somebody regarding Jenny Slate potentially being brought into the suit.
Jenny was a strong supporter of Blake, even describing her as a good friend. She had publicly backed Blake and stood against the allegations made against her.
Police side. This was a statement she released. She said, "As Blake Lively's castmate and friend, I voice my support as she takes action against those reported to have planned and carried out an attack on her reputation. Blake is a leader, loyal friend, and a trusted source of emotional support for me and so many who know and love her. What has been revealed about the attack on Blake is terribly dark, disturbing, and wholly threatening," she added. "I commend my friend, I admire her bravery, and I stand by her side."
But when it came time to testify, Jenny had a surprise for Blake. She allegedly denied any involvement and distanced herself from the case. Despite her refusal, Blake's team planned to subpoena Jenny, believing her testimony would strengthen their case due to her alleged uncomfortable experiences with Baldoni. However, many people speculated that this was just a strategy to manipulate the case by involving more women in the lawsuit, making Blake's case seem more credible. When this plan didn't go as expected, Blake's team requested an extension to come up with a new strategy. Judge Lyman wasn't buying it, though. When he asked why they needed until March 5th, Blake's legal team gave a long, complicated explanation about adding new parties to the lawsuit. One of those parties was Jed Wallace and his company, Street Relations. Blake's team claimed that Wallace had filed a 10-page lawsuit in a Texas federal court, which overlapped with their case, and they needed time to address it. Sounds reasonable, right? Well, not so fast.
One of those intended parties, Jed Wallace, along with his company Street Relations, filed an anticipatory and meritless 10-page complaint in the federal district court in Texas regarding issues that substantially overlap with the issue.
Brian Fredman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, came in swinging. He brought receipts, literal receipts, showing that Blake's team had never agreed to an extension when his team requested one back in January during the LA wildfires.
Of Wayfarer, and says, notwithstanding the Lively party's inexplicable refusal to consent to a similar extension requested by the Wayfarer parties in the throes of the Los Angeles wildfires.
Even though Fredman agreed to their request, he made it clear that if they were granted an extension, his team would need one as well, pushing their response date to April 15th.
The Wayfarer parties have no objection to the extension sought by the Lively parties. So they're like, whatever, take your extension, we don't even care. But if you do take your extension, then we're asking for an extension beyond that, essentially to allow us to respond thereto on April.
Fair is fair, right? But Brian wasn't done. He dropped a bombshell that left the courtroom in stunned silence. He revealed that Blake's team was trying to paint Wallace as the reason for the delay when, in reality, Blake herself had filed legal action against Wallace in Texas on January 21st, 2 whole weeks before Wallace responded with his lawsuit.
What Lively parties conspicuously failed to mention is that the now pending litigation in Texas was precipitated by Miss Lively, who initiated legal action against Mr. Wallace in Texas state court on January 21st, approximately 2 weeks before he filed his federal lawsuit.
The audacity. It was as if Blake's team was trying to pull a fast one on the court, and Brian was not about to let that slide. Judge Lyman wasn't impressed either. He denied their request for a month-long extension and instead gave them just 1 extra day to submit their amendment. You could practically see the defeat on Blake's team's faces, heads down, shoulders slumped. They looked like a team that knew they were running out of tricks. The judge made it clear that Blake's team hadn't provided any valid reason for needing more time, and he wasn't about to let them drag this out any longer. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for Blake's team, oh, it did. Remember how they tried to slap Brian Fredman with a gag order to keep him from talking to the media? Yeah, that got shut down too.
The judge chose to not impose the gag order on Justin Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman today, but did threaten to move up the trial if the media press war continued.
The court was like, nice try, but no. So now, Brian can freely share details about the case, which is the last thing Blake's team wanted. Imagine trying to control the narrative, only for the court to hand the MIC to your biggest opponent. Oh, and let's not forget their latest embarrassment. Justin Baldoni's legal team launched a website to share evidence, receipts, and footage related to the case.
Baldoni's team launched a new website over the weekend, featuring an amended legal complaint and a 168-page timeline of events, including newly released text messages allegedly sent between the embattled stars of It Ends With Us, as well as Lively's husband, actor Ryan Reynolds. One alleged text from Reynolds to Baldoni expresses his excitement about It Ends With Us, writing, "This is gonna be incredible. I happen to adore you, Justin."
Blake's team, already drowning in legal woes, begged the court to take the site down, but the court wasn't having it. Their reasoning? Blake's team had also gone public with their case, using major outlets like the New York Times to share their side, so why should Baldoni's team be silenced at this point? At this point, Blake's legal team must be wondering, what else could go wrong? Every strategy they've tried has backfired spectacularly, and it's looking more and more like Blake could lose this lawsuit. And let's not forget the stakes. $400 million is on the line. That's a lot of money, even for someone as successful as Blake and Ryan. The question now is, how much more can her team take before they completely crack? What do you guys think? Do tell me in the comments, and don't leave without subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video.